Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I am Param and I scored 98.4 about 2 to 3 years ago in my 10th class, and in this video I'm going to be telling you how I prepared for my midterms to be topping in my section and class. See, मेरे 86% आए थे midterms में. It wasn't good as if you compare it to board standards, but it's like क्योंकि पेपर स्कूल के ज़्यादा टफ होते हैं बोर्ड से, तो 86, 80, 75, it's fine. It's not very bad and you should not be discouraged by these scores. Even after scoring 86, I was on one of the top in my class. But I actually started studying for boards seriously from December and January. So how did I manage to actually top my class even though I wasn't fully on studying? So the first thing I would like to tell you is do not get discouraged by any marks you get. Always aim for the marks according to your school. 75 to 80% is also good for normal schools. 85% is great, and if you score 90 plus, it's even better. First of all, what did I do especially? I paid attention in all my classes. Therefore, I was able to absorb a lot of information from my NCERT very easily as compared to others who were not paying attention. What I want you to do is first, please just focus on the NCERT. If you actually skip the NCERT and try to prepare fully in December and January, you won't get enough time to actually read all of the chapters and understand the contents deeply. Therefore, you won't be able to answer all of the competency questions. Please एनसीईआरटी रीड करो, एनसीईआरटी को अच्छे से समझो, एनसीईआरटी की कीवर्ड्स समझो, एनसीईआरटी की लैंग्वेज समझो, एंड देन ट्राई टू राइट इन दैट लैंग्वेज एज वेल, बिकॉज once you're able to write in that language, that is what will get you the most marks, because NCERT से ही पेपर आता है. Even after it, the paper is mostly competency. Even after it would require your mind, it will still be from the NCERT because the contents are present in the NCERT and you have to write in that language specifically. And I won't just stop on the NCERT part. What you need to do is you also need to start making notes. That's what I did as well. First of all, I focused on the NCERT and then I started focusing on my own notes, or specifically science and SST. What you need to do is keep an NCERT over here, keep a book over here, which will tell you of the important contents present in the NCERT. This could be a question bank, which I've already mentioned on my channel multiple times. Here's the reference book. Here's the NCERT, and here you need to have a copy. So once you have this copy over here, you are going to be reading the important points out of the reference book. You are going to be seeing them in the NCERT. You are going to be reading them in the NCERT. And all the points that you feel are necessary to be revised and to be mentioned in an answer, you need to write them in your copy of notes from the NCERT, looking at the important points of the reference book. Your answers would be on a different level as compared to your classmates or anyone you compare it with. Third thing that I did was I did not keep my PYQs for the last minute. I knew कि यार PYQs खत्म करने पड़ेंगे. It is not a choice कि मैं last में करके start कर दूंगा. If you are actually waiting for the perfect time to start PYQs, मेरा syllabus खत्म होगा उसके बाद मैं start करूंगा, there will never be a time. Your syllabus will not get over, and I know that you know that as well. Your syllabus is never going to get over. It is always going to be like अरे मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, अरे मैं वो कर सकता हूँ. कभी खत्म नहीं होती है कोई चीज. Therefore PYQs you have to start right away. What you need to do is first NCERT से चैप्टर पढ़ लिया है, थोड़े थोड़े नोट्स बना लिए, थोड़ा थोड़ा रिवाइज कर लिया है. Then what you need to do is कि भाई PYQs पे अच्छे से फोकस डाला जाए. PYQs पे अच्छे से फोकस डाला जाएगा तब इट्स लाइक थोड़े थोड़े PYQs तुम टाइम टू टाइम करते रहोगे, थोड़े थोड़े PYQs से तुम नोट्स बनाते रहोगे कि यार ये आंसर मैं एमुलेट कर सकता हूँ अपने अंदर. You will make notes of the answers that are mentioned in the PYQs. You will be able to type better answers and write better answers in the exam as well. Therefore, PYQs, do not delay them. Try to finish them in this time frame only, if not in September, and you can do it in October and November as well. Just don't try to delay it to the to the last minute, because a lot of the times you will not be able to finish what you intended in the last minute. One thing that you need to ingrain in your mind is that you always do not need to finish the syllabus for your midterms or for your pre-boards as well. What I need you to do is actually just don't get the gist of all chapters, but go into detail on the chapter so that you remember the chapter actually when you're preparing for the actual boards that are going to happen in February. You're going to be revising that chapter multiple times during December and January, and I want you to remember a lot of the details that you did study in the midterms, which would help you a lot in mastering the chapter pretty fast. That is what happened with me as well. For my midterms, I wasn't explicitly studying for boards, but I was studying, and I was studying from the NCERT and trying to do some of the questions on the PYQs. Therefore, I was able to kind of accumulate a lot of information that I could process and apply later on. I studied for my boards for December and January only, but that does not mean that I wasted all my time till then. I tried to study for my midterms, and I tried to study it in a way that it helps me in the boards instead of just scoring marks in this midterm itself. Therefore, even if you're scoring 5 marks less by leaving out a chapter, but you get to perfect all the other chapters and try to revise all the other chapters, it is a good thing. Please revision pe dhyan do. Please, you need to actually know the chapters which you are going to write in the paper, because midterms ke marks won't matter, but the boards would. If you get 75 to 80%, your internals are already set. The school believes that you will score good marks, therefore they will be able to give you 20 out of 20 on almost all of your internals, because every single school wants कि उनकी साइड से टॉपर्स निकले. अगर उनको दिखेगा कि तुम टॉप करने लायक हो तो तुमको फुल मार्क्स देंगे इंटरनल्स में, कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी, बिकॉज दे वांट टॉपर्स एज वेल. एंड द लास्ट थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू इज कि भाई रिवीजन को तुम बेल आउट मत करना. हमेशा तुम लास्ट में जाके वन शॉट देखोगे, रिवीजन करोगे नहीं तो कुछ लिख नहीं पाओगे. Do not bail out on revision. Revision is a very important thing. It is a very necessary thing. Even if it is not of the full extent, it is not of the best extent, I want you to revise it somehow. Revise revise the few points that you remember somehow, so that you'll be able to write clearer answers and actually have clarity on what you're writing. Try to keep your answer writing almost perfect and almost to the level that you actually can write. Always underline keywords, because this is the time to actually try new techniques and see what works for you. Midterms and pre-boards are the time when you realize कि okay, I can do this as well in my exam, I can do that as well in my exam. What is better? Therefore, use this for experimentation. Try to always do yourself in every single exam, and do not get discouraged by the marks, because this is just for experimenting only. This is just to tell you कि this chapter में तुम्हें ये करना चाहिए, इस वाली जगह पर तुम्हें ये करना चाहिए. Any marks you score, you have to go to the teacher, ask where I went wrong. Try to gain insights and learn from the insights as well. These exams are not to test your scores, rather actually boost your scores for the actual exam. Please view them in that way as well, such as I did, and I guarantee you will be happy with all the marks you got, and after boards you will realize कि okay, this was actually a great decision. Thanks for watching.